From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 18th, 2025. We open with the release this past Saturday of 3 Israeli hostages, Alexander Sasha Trufanov, Yair Horn, and Sagi Dekelchen. After their abduction during the Hamas massacre on October the 7th of 2023, held for 498 days by terror group Hamas in Gaza, finally able to reunite with their loved ones for joyful, emotional, and also heartbreaking reunions. Trufanov able to finally embrace his mother Elana and partner Sapir, both women released from Hamas captivity in November of 2023 after they too were abducted on October the 7th. Trufanov, though, also learning that his father Vitali was murdered during the Hamas massacre. Horn able to embrace his mother Ruthie and brother Amos and other family members, while Horn's brother Eitan is still held captive in Gaza. And Dekelchen finally able to embrace his wife Avital, who was 7 months pregnant when he was abducted on October the 7th, able to hear for the first time the name of his third daughter, Shachar Mazal, born in December of 2023 while he was captive. Since being released, the former hostages have shared some information about what they endured during captivity, including torture, both physical and psychological. Regarding the next release of hostages, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said today that understandings have been reached in the Cairo negotiations, according to which 6 living first-stage hostages will be released on Saturday. This Thursday, 4 deceased hostages will be returned to Israel, and said that pursuant to the agreement, 4 additional deceased hostages are due to be returned to Israel next week. The Prime Minister's office said on Saturday that in coordination with U.S. Presidential Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, Netanyahu had instructed the negotiations team from Israel to leave for Cairo yesterday in order to discuss the continued implementation of the first stage of the deal, and that the team will receive instructions for the continuation of the negotiations regarding the second stage. Yesterday, Netanyahu met with a bipartisan U.S. Senate delegation led by Senator Lindsey Graham in Tel Aviv. The group also included Senators Dan Sullivan, Sheldon Whitehouse, Richard Blumenthal, Joni Ernst, Adam Schiff, and Andy Kim. The senators also met with hostage families, marking yesterday the unthinkable 500 days of captivity for the 73 hostages still being held captive by terror group Hamas in Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was also in Israel this weekend, where he met on Saturday with families of American-Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza, after meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Rubio and Netanyahu afterwards addressing the press, where the Prime Minister thanked the new Secretary of State for his unwavering support of Israel, and addressed the topics the two discussed in their sit-down, including the hostages still captive.
I want to assure everyone who's now listening to us, President Trump and I are working in full cooperation and coordination between us. We have a common strategy, and we can't always share the details of this strategy with the public, including when the gates of hell will be opened, as they surely will, if all our hostages are not released until the last one of them.
Rubio echoed the U.S. commitment that, he said, the hostages have to come home and that Hamas must be eliminated. Rubio called Israel an extraordinary story of bravery, a country that has served as an example to the world of a pluralistic society, a free enterprise democracy.
If there were more Israelis in the Middle East, more countries like that, the world would be a safer and a better place. And this is what we hope for the region and for our planet. A nation that's always sought peace, but will not allow itself to be intimidated or destroyed by its enemies. And on that front, you can always count on us.
Turning now to Canada, where a synagogue in Montreal was vandalized this weekend. The Canadian Jewish News reported that a 2-foot-wide swastika was spray-painted on the outside of Temple Emmanuel Beth Shalom in Westmount, discovered on Shabbat Saturday afternoon. The synagogue and its rabbi, Lisa Greshko, took to social media after the incident, writing, "The hate is painful, and so too is the silence of those around us. Asking the community to reach out to your Jewish friends. Go to a local Holocaust museum and learn about how long and how deep the history of anti-Semitism is, and why hateful words and symbols matter so much. Educate yourself, speak up, and show up. Local police are investigating." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, February the 18th at 7 o'clock. National Director Emeritus of the Anti-Defamation League, Abe Foxman, joins ISGAP's Charles Asher Small and David Harris in the JBS studio to discuss the current crisis in Israel and the Israel-U.S. relationship. At 8, Justin Pine sits down with Dr. Elana Stein Hain, Rosh Beit Midrash and Senior Fellow at the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem, to discuss her experience living in Israel as an American this year, including insights about Purim, the diaspora, Jewish identity, and religious Zionism. At 9, hear from Jewish historians on L'chaim. At 10, it's the ILTV's Insider, which is also coming up next. At 10:30, an encore of the news. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 18th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.